Hi, I'm Beth Gallagher.
And I'm Carol Blessing.
And we'd like to invite you to ColorFest, something Carol and I have been playing with since 2018.
It's an experiment in social solidarity.
Where there's no agenda.
Where whoever shows up are the right people.
Where we hold space in creative community.
It's an opportunity to slow down.
And breathe.
To be together.
All you need to do is bring something crafty for your hands.
So join us in the ColorFest Gallery.
Come hang with us.
Come hang with us July 12th, 2:15 Eastern Standard Time. See you there.
So what's the story underneath how you decided to start this thing? Why did it come into being? Beth and Carol.
Beth and Carol. Well, dog. Initially, it was just Carol and I, and Carol was, we just wanted to kind of hang out, but she had an ulterior motive behind wanting to hang out a little bit. It was back in 2018. She didn't just want to have a phone call. She actually wanted to see me because I had brain surgery. So she wanted to actually lay eyes on me and make sure that I was actually okay. So we wanted to hang out, and she wanted to supervise me, sort of. So we wanted to do something that, you know, kind of kept both sides of our brain busy, and we would kind of hang out and talk, and just it started out as just kind of, you know, maybe a half an hour, and then it kind of merged into an hour, and then we would be on a Zoom call for, gosh, hours, and we'd just be laughing, and just, it was so relaxed and so fun and so chill. It was just like girlfriends sitting together, you know, having a cup of coffee, and just it's like no distance was between us, only there's like 3,000 miles between us. And so we would do it like every 3 weeks or so, and it was just so fun that once the pandemic hit, it felt kind of tragic that everybody was feeling really lonely. And so we thought maybe we could offer our little coloring sessions to other people. And so we started offering it to other people, and people trickled in. And then we did it roughly every 3 weeks, and it got bigger and bigger, and people from all different countries came, and it's like there's no agenda, just whatever we start talking about, and every single time is different. There's a different group of people. Some people are the same every time. So, well, it's never the same every time. It's always a little different. Sometimes it's really big, sometimes it's really small. The conversations are always different. So it's been fantastic. I mean, we just love it. And you know, it's about friendships, and it's about, you know, just having a place to go to just share. And, you know, it feels comfortable. It feels, what, Carol? Oh, it just feels comfortable. It feels like we're all just sitting here in a living room, you know? So that's how it started. And I think it's probably going to go on for a while.
And let me just add, so, you know, a little more color to that. Just, you know, a couple of things was, yeah, because I was concerned about Beth and her recovery, I also didn't want to make it an intense thing. You know, I didn't want it to be, oh, look at you, poor thing with brain surgery, you're all sick. right? I wanted very much to be connected without being just like focused on Nacho. We named it Nacho. We named her tumor Nacho
You did
because
name
so
it
we could
Nacho.
talk about it, right? Without having to say, how's her head or whatever. So we could just make reference to Nacho. So the coloring idea was really born out of, so I could avert my eyes, right? So we could talk and not have this like an expectation that somebody has to say something. We would sometimes just be quiet also. And I also knew that doing something like coloring, is really important for recovery. It's a healthy thing. And, at the time, Beth, you were having, troubles. You were having some troubles with memory and, it was just, there was a lot going on. And I just thought this might be a nice way to, you know, get those synapses moving and checking up on you and deepening a friendship that we started way back in Tash. We met each other at Tash and then we saw each other and we met each other at Tash at the inclusion book table the year that John and my book came out, right? The Conversations book. It was on that table and I was over talking to you guys and Beth was like there and she went, "Oh, you're Carol Blessing." And I was like, "What?" And she says, "Yes."
What?
And then she walked me over to someplace and she says, "I have a book coming out too." And I just started saying, "Oh my God, that's wonderful." But wait a minute, it's not out, so I win, right? So we began this just remarkable, in the moment, immediately clicked. But, Tash comes and goes and TSI, you're there for a little while. And so we had only begun to get to know each other, right? And in those kind of environments. So the coloring idea really unbelievably in my mind, like for 3,000 miles apart, we're on, opposite sides of the country, but it allowed for us to really become friends, not folks we know through conferences, but literally to really become good friends. And that was just such a lovely, unexpected really, when you think about virtual space, but it can happen. People can really connect in this way. And then with the pandemic, Beth and y'all, like we, along with a few of our other friends, wrote this thing to our government about, the funding and how it's requiring person-centered planning, and it's not person-centered planning at all. And so we called it a dissent. And that was fresh in my mind. And when the pandemic hit and people were being instructed to do social distancing, I felt that was just such an awful thing to do, like stay away from people at a time when people need people. And so we initially we called this ColorFest. It was a dissent for social distancing because we believed in social solidarity. So Sunny, like what you were talking about before, being angry about what people don't do, even though you see it coming. Beth and I were like, why would we continue to divide people when this is an opportunity for us to join in social solidarity? Let's be in isolation, but let's not cut off our relationships. As a matter of fact, let's extend them. And that's when, we just said, "You're welcome to come," and it was pretty mind-boggling when like the first couple of times we were like on the other side of it going, "Oh my God, how many countries were represented?" And oh my God, how important this was to people, particularly during that time. And I'm just gobsmacked really that it continues to be something people are gravitating for as things lighten up. And I'd love, Heather, if you feel comfortable to do it. I know that you've been part of this right from the beginning and, you've had a lot of thoughts about what ColorFest, is and what it means to folks. If you're comfortable sharing that, I'd love to hear it.
Before Heather says that, I'd just like to go on the record real quick to just say at the Inclusion Press table, I did not fangirl over Carol. That needs to be stricken from the record.
Yeah.
Heather?
So you see. Yeah, I first heard about it because I loved Carol Blessing's kind of bit of subterfuge, checking out whether Beth after her surgery could still hold a pencil, you know, could talk, could do all that stuff. And I just thought it was so smart. Yeah, it's such a smart way to do that without it being, you know, without her being.
Seeing if I could, if I was drooling.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think it was a bit like that, really, you know. You know. So I thought I was just so impressed, and impressed isn't the right word, but I was really moved by Carol's kind of care of Beth in that way. That was just really quite something to me. So I thought it felt like a really nice container to be able to bring some of what I was feeling during the pandemic, which was like, yeah, I mean, there have been times when I've thought during this pandemic that I was losing my mind, you know, just completely. I live on my own. After a while, I wasn't working, so I wasn't seeing anyone. I was, you know, so it was just a huge relief. Well, not a relief. It was such a welcome to me to find a place that had its roots in, you know, care for one another, the desire to be connected. And I don't do anything. I just sit and talk. I can't, you know, I can't multitask. So I can't color. I've tried to sew while it was happening, but I just can't do it. I get too into the conversation and probably have too much to say. So you know, I'm kind of there listening in. So that for me, that was really important. It provided it was a solace and encouragement. Just a, you know, a great space to come and be, really. And I met, you know, people that I love, whom I've met at TSI, and, you know, because I'm in Scotland, Sunny, you might have picked that up with the accent. So I'm in Scotland. Rita's there in the UK, but there are all these people that I really love who are living on the other side of the world. So it was a fantastic way for me to get 2 hours of conversation with them and to hear what they were thinking and see their faces and talk things over. So that's that. I guess too, I think it's a kind of visual aid of what we say we believe. You know, people are welcome, people come as they are. There's kindness there. There's a kind of honouring of people and their points of view and so on. Yeah, it's cool. Maybe one other thing to say is I think it's real. Do you know what I mean? It's not like we're all kind of on our best behaviour and saying our best inclusion things.
Oh no.
You know, there's like there's a working through of ideas, and you know that, you know, I hear about something and I think help me think about how to think about this. I find that invaluable. So a bunch of people who are like-minded, but who would also be saying, really, we don't see everything in the same way. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's true. It's like, yeah, it's not like everybody shows up and is on their best behavior.
Yeah, we read the gospel and we all go, yeah.
No.
And yeah.
No.
Yeah, one of my favorites was here in the United States, the announcement of who was elected president, and it was
that was a fun day,
right, Rita? It was a banner day because we had people from all over the world happen to show up that day, and we didn't know what was going to happen. And you know, Gallagher was sitting in her house, and all of a sudden we had been speculating and talking and making cracks or whatever, and all of a sudden Beth says, "Oh my God, it just came in." You know,
I don't think I said that. Something similar to that.
Yes.
A little different language, but
perhaps with a little more color.
A little more color. But what I meant earlier by we're not always on our best behavior. That's what I mean.
And Beth Mount was on the call at that point. We had people from all over the world, and there was this amazing just reaction, which was critical. But Beth Mount lives in New York City, and it blew up. The minute that announcement came through, New York City exploded, and we could hear it through Beth's computer. People were out in the streets, horns were blowing. There was all of this excitement. So she carried us around for a few minutes.
And she opened up her window.
Yeah, she opened up
Put
her
her
window
phone
so
out
we
the
could
window.
hear it.
So
And
cool.
then she says, you guys, I gotta go be with my people. And off she went. So it was just a moment to share across countries, right? And continents. It was incredible. It was like, that was one of my very favorite, that'll be a memory like forever.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
And I think I was in New Orleans with Hazel and had missed with my granddaughter and son-in-law and daughter. And so I was late on the call. And that was kind of your reporting about the eruption. And yeah, I was at the tail end, because
Yeah.
that certainly is one of the other aspects, is that whenever you come is the right time.
Right. You can just show up. Yeah, it's
Oh,
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
all right,
Wow.
Sonny.
mhm.
yeah,
Oh, you're muted.
you're muted.
One of the actually, the second page in this book is Joe Biden's president.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's
I
as if you
started
were
this
there.
book in January. Yeah.
yeah. It's as if you were there. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was an amazing day. I mean, and the thing about that particular ColorFest is that there had to have been probably 6 countries represented at least. I mean, it was very like, Sandra was there. It was just so
Right, we had Germany.
interesting.
Was Hans there? No.
I think he was. I
He
mean, there was a
was?
lot of different countries there.
There
It
was
just-
Denmark right then, and there was, Denmark and Germany and UK and Scotland and Canada.
it was fascinating. Yeah, it was really.
It
and
was
so-
brilliant.
And we
It
were
was
talking
absolutely
about
brilliant,
how
wasn't it?
we were
It was-
talking about how the presidency really does affect the rest of the world.
Absolutely.
And in the middle of that, it's like, wait a minute, what the? Ah. It's like, he just got elected. It was really cool.
Rita, what were you saying?
No, I remember it was, yes, I agree with you that it was one of those moments in time that you'd absolutely remember. And we were just
There's
literally
Laura.
just talking about what was going to happen and when might it come out. And then there it was, there
Yeah,
it was,
It was.
unfolding in real time, before, well, certainly before they'd have, reported it on the BBC. So that just felt amazing. It was like,
Yeah.
I've got this inside track to what's happening on the other
Yeah.
side of the world.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was the
was
most
very cool.
remarkable. In my front room in Ashted, it was just wild,
Yeah.
completely wild.
Hi, Laura.
Hi,
Hi, Lauren. Nice to see you.
thank you, thank you. Good
We
to
were
see
just
y'all too.
talking about you a little bit ago.
You don't know.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
not-
No
I
problem.
connect for the people and the conversation and the goodwill. And it's always joyous. I love it.
Oh, Axel. We didn't even say hello to you. Hey, Axel. Bye. 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 Look at your lovely face. Gorgeous boy.
Can you say bye-bye?
Axel.
Say hi.
Axel?
Bye-bye. Say,
Oh,
Bye-bye.
Oh, good job.
Oh.
what is, it might have already been said because it was a little chaotic here and I didn't hear everybody else's comments. But what I think this group for me is one of the very few places I feel like I can really and truly be vulnerable.
Mm,
You know?
Nice.
If I need to cry, I could cry and I don't regret it later, kind of thing. Like it's real. It's okay. For some reason,
Yeah.
it just is a safe space.
Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you all for that. It's truly very much a gift.
I love
And
that.
I hope that goes back to the original intention, Carol and Beth just connecting up out of care and kindness and concern for one another. And I think that's kind of carried through somehow. It's in the DNA of the group, really. So I think it's a lovely thing about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's built in. Yeah.
Hmm.
I think it's wonderful that you invited us all in and just didn't
Yeah.
keep this time to yourselves. Yeah.
Oh, admit it, they got tired of each other.
I was just gonna say, Gallagher, keep your pie hole shut. It isn't about like, how long can you meet for 3 hours with just Carol Blessing?
I'm so tired of Carol. Please come and give a buffer. I'm so burnt out on dog.
I'm
Oh
so
my God.
intrigued to hear really about the origin and delighted that you met at Tash, connected in
A little different than the way Carol said, but yes, we met at Tash.
and it reminds me about the way that some of the friendships really deepen and the intention of that connection with this time together every
Yeah, know
Friday.
some, huh?
And you guys are just such hilarious friends. It's so entertaining.
Yeah, we laugh. We think we're very funny.
Maybe not as funny as you think you are. That would be the one thing I would say.
We think we're hilarious. There's no
Yeah,
question about it.
You do.
Well, it is like a game. Nothing makes me more joyful than to like make Gallagher laugh so hard she has to go to the bathroom. I live for that. So, what's interesting, you guys, is I take the idea of friendship so very seriously. Like, I believe it's a, when you have a friend, you need to be a friend, and the commitment to that is an investment. And so, sometimes I learned, that with folks you might think are friends, that's too much for them. It's a little too intense. It's too much. But when you offer something like this to a friend and they accept and want to be that kind of friend too, it's just a wonderful thing. So it's the way I like to be in friendship. That's what I think the word means. And I also would have never met Laura Larson. I never would have gotten to know Hope. You know what I mean? Like there were people that, as you were saying, people I've heard about that show up to this that I now have a relationship with, not somebody I know now, and that's just would not have happened.
Right. I wouldn't know Rita.
No.
Well, you do kidnap people, right? And then it's kind of like the Hotel California. Then you can never leave.
Okay.
Can't leave.
Hotel California is about Camarillo State Hospital, so let's take that off the map. That's not,
That's really the origin of the song?
yeah, it's about Camarillo State Hospital. So
Oh,
how creepy
sorry.
is that, right?
That's creepy.
So the
I
cover of
never
that
knew
album,
that.
the cover of that album is Camarillo State Hospital, which is now CSU Channel Islands, California State University Channel Islands, which still looks exactly like Camarillo State Hospital. That's where I grew up. I grew up in Camarillo, so I know this to be true. Yeah, so weird. Very
Yeah, weird.
weird.
Well, see,
All
there
right.
we go. Fun facts emerge.
Fun facts. I have
We never would have known
I
that.
have a
Never would have
plethora of
known.
those fun facts.
Meet my helper. This is Peanut.
Hi, Peanut.
She wanted
Well,
some
you can-
attention.
Very
Hi,
cute.
Peanut.
Chihuahua.
Wow. Yeah. She's a 5-pound pit bull. Oh, she was a rescue and she was abused before we got her. And so she doesn't like strangers at all and can be very nasty to them. So we
I
call
will-
her the 5-pound pit bull, but
I love hanging out. I really appreciate where the conversation wanders. I love, there's times that people are talking about what they've read or a question they've got. And I love being able to just sit and listen. And actually, it's really different for me when I engage in doing some art. And that's really different than when I'm folding laundry.
But we learned how well you pack your clothing when you go on a trip. It was a very interesting episode.
I forgot there was the whole Marie Kondo folding episode. Did I torture people with going and showing them my drawers? I might have.
You might have, but it inspired me.
In the kitchen, we saw a kitchen.
Yeah, yeah, we've seen your drawers, so to speak, Linda. We've seen your drawers. Oh my.
Well, Jack will be
Sorry,
grateful
Jack.
that I didn't go take you up to his drawers.
Well, I was totally inspired, and I went and read, online that Japanese woman and how she folds the underwear.
Marie
And so
Kondo.
I redid my underwear drawers and my socks, but I didn't get any further than that. But they are really nice, and I've stuck with it.
Oh my.
See, so you brought
That's
change
what I
to the
mean.
world.
Wow. You've
Right,
changed
and
people's
Laura,
world.
we met at the Summer Institute in Toronto. And, I fell in love with you there, and then you were doing work with Beth and Kirk and John O'Brien and Beth Mount. And so I kept hearing more stories about you, and it's been fun to connect here.
Thank you.
And there's just crazy history with different people, and this isn't entirely
Sure.
right. Rita, we met through the CCLD,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah.
And Hope, we met first in Louisville because Joe Krippenstapel told us to come down. You'll just love this woman. And that's never been over.
Yeah, boy, what year was that, you think, Linda? Gosh.
What a year.
I remember where I think I was still living in the US.
I think you were too.
Um,
I think you were. You were in Rhode Island.
right. I'll bet it was still in the 90s, Hope.
Yeah.
And there's just been lots of adventures, and so it's really interesting. And then, Heather, you had a long history with the Jackman, and then we met in 2005 at the first Summer Institute I ever attended.
Yeah, but we'd met before then. We met at Pete and Heather's house. It was not long after you two were married and you were over in the UK,
Right.
and we had dinner at Pete and Heather's. So, and that's how I was able, I think, to come and speak to you that day at the TSI, because I felt already I'd, kind of broken the ice. And yeah.
Right. This and the two Heathers at the time in Scotland were pretty dynamic. And that was the time when I first met her that she said, "Hello, I'd like to talk to you about what you're wearing and your colors, because none of that works. Would you come up to my bedroom, and would you be willing to have me try some things on you? I think you could look better."
Who said that? Heather Anderson?
Heather
Yeah,
Anderson.
not me, not me.
You're
This
kidding.
was
Wow.
so fabulous. And then she told me where she buys some of her clothes, and I went there to the Grass Market.
Yeah, to
Bill
build.
Baber,
Yeah.
Bill Baird,
Wow.
Bill Baber.
Baber,
It's still there, Linda. It's still there.
very expensive information.
Very expensive information.
Yes, thank you, Heather Anderson. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
To all of us, she was Heather's an enthusiast. If something works for her, she just completely embraces it. And she should have been an evangelist or something. If she'd found religion, we would all have been worshiping the one God. She'd been completely. And so when she had her colours done, every single one of us who knew her, every person who worked beside her, got this, the third degree about it. And she'd critique why are you looking like Johnny Cash, just wearing black all the time? You could be doing this, or you could be doing that, or don't wear that colour that makes you look yellow and jaundiced.
my
She
God.
didn't hold anything back. She was absolutely. She
And
doesn't.
she would say, exactly. And if you're gonna wear Linda, if you're going to look like Johnny Cash. It'll be all about the accessories. You have to have a color closer to your face that's in your color family. Oh no, she really reworked me.
Wow. Oh
Yeah.
my God. Remind me to stay 300 paces away from Heather Anderson at all times. Wow.
You'll not be able
You
to.
should do a
There's
workshop on
magnetic
Zoom.
force that draws you towards her. You will
Yeah,
not.
no, I am Johnny Cash and she needs to stay, I need to stay away from her for sure. So,
Yeah, well, good luck with that.
wow, that's funny.
I want her to redo me. That'd be great.
Heather, I
great
think,
clothes
was
as well.
the last and shortest lived European member of parliament.
Right, that's right. She
Yes,
was.
and she was seated in the as a Euro member of parliament just as UK pulled out. So
Yeah.
she was
Yeah.
defeated.
Oh, wow.
Her opening speech was, "I'll be back," which gives you a hint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go, Laura?
Oh, I was just saying that I've been thinking about the idea of being in trouble and that how that stems from childhood about always worrying that you're going to be in trouble, and how that carried forward in my career to always worrying about being in trouble with my board of directors or with the state and their monitoring, that always being in trouble. And now that I'm retired, I still have that feeling of being in trouble, that I'm not, I'm not doing enough around the house. I can't sit and relax. It's just interesting how those things carry over from your childhood and impact you even when you're an old woman. It's just interesting, just being in trouble. I think, and it ties to imperfection. Is I'm blinking.
Yeah.
When Linda leaves, since I can't go out on the town and party like mad, I am reading, and this is one. It's Healing Collective Trauma by Thomas Hubel. He's been featured on the Presencing Institute, and
Yeah.
although this one is not a quick read, it's a bloody brilliant book.
He's fascinating.
And he's great. And the other one, which I have enjoyed is not the correct term even remotely, but How the Word is Passed by Clint Smith. And it's a reckoning with the history of slavery across America. He takes himself on a tour of essentially former plantation and Civil War sites, chooses 8, and explores them, what they mean to him now, talks to people. And it is fascinating. Once again, I learned a lot, a bunch of which I really didn't want to know, but it's important to know it.
There's a couple of.
I don't want to take away from the seriousness of what you were saying, Jack, but I'm kind of remembering your film recommendations as well as your book recommendations. That day we spent watching.
Oh yes.
That kind of thing. So let's go to the cinema. Great. What do we go and see? Anthropocene. We just about hanged ourselves as we walked out the door. It was so, So I'm guessing that these books are a bit like that, really. That you come face to face with some pretty ugly truth. Yeah. I knew it, Jack. Yeah.
Well, as I've been doodling, instead of a pandemic,
Yeah.
the world is burning.
Yeah.
So we're a perfect pair because that is Jack's bent, and I watch teen movies and romances and comedies, as vapid as they come.
I kind of feel like description of kind of touches on how I've experienced this group, which is this lovely mix of hilarity and having a gentle go at each other and having some fun, and also moving into and out of really deep stuff. And for me, one of the most striking things, I was trying to think, what's the word that would describe an experience? And the word seemed to be solace. I have found enormous solace, even though I've only obviously come very recently into any of these relationships or into this group, but other people who are supportive of the distress that causes. So it's not like I have to bang on about the distress that causes me. I think it's kind of take it as read. That's a really rubbish lot of things to be going on in England and the UK. And there's empathy there, which is so lovely. And Carol, when you described it as a social solidarity meeting, that's how I feel it. I feel it that way. I feel it. Anyway, but that makes it sound like we're on a real downer. So let's move into something much more. So my team won the football match today. Yay! Which that's another thing that really matters to me. You see, it's stuff that I share. I know it doesn't really matter a damn to anybody, but it matters to me.
Who's your team?
Liverpool. Liverpool all my life.
And my team won last night, and it doesn't matter to anybody else, but I'm going to say it right here. Washington won last night.
Yay! What we need to be doing here, going back to ridiculous political decisions, is sharing vaccines, which we're just not doing, as far as I can tell. Are we, Heather? Seems like we're not.
I don't think so.
No, why would we be doing anything helpful like that? No, clearly not.
We'd rather give them to people who
don't need it.
Out whether or not they actually need them, and
Yeah.
you know, then share them with anyone else.
Very sad.
Linda, did you want to show Laura the pencils that you got from your mom?
Oh gosh, Laura. All right, so they're now all over the place. I'm just going to show you.
Sorry.
So my mom was an artist, and I just went to her home. She passed in April, and among the things she had included some gorgeous coloring books.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I see that. Beautiful.
Yes.
So here's what I've been playing with so far.
Oh, you're doing good. Look at all that color. Yes.
And so it's this kind of box.
Oh, Derwent, that's what, yes, Derwent is great. I just bought a whole set of Derwent, the Inktense, a complete set.
Oh, interesting. So it came in a box. I've got all the pencils all over the place on my desk.
Is that Inktense?
What is an Inktent?
Does it say on the front ink, INKTENSE?
Oh, intense.
Inktense, yes.
Intense, no. What does that mean about the pencils?
Well, the Inktense pencils are, they actually are made with an ink that are activated by water, and the colors become very vibrant when you take a little brush and go over what you've done. Or you can, I saw this technique where you have a little piece of plastic and you actually put the pencil on the plastic, and then you take a brush and then put it on your pages. Wow. But I like the Inktense. I mean, I have some Derwent pens, but I like the Inktense so much. When I learned how to use them, I never knew how to use them, that I went and bought the full complete, I think it's 72 pencils. So I'd have all the colors. It's really goes down so beautifully. I think they're British.
Expensive.
They're very expensive. I went on a spree. Wow. In July, I said, you're not going to use Amazon. You will not use Amazon the month of July, which I did not. I did a little bit of eBay, but I didn't do Amazon. And then came August, and it's like opened up, and I bought, I mean, I bet I bought $500 worth of pencils. I bought all these new things. Out of control. In trouble.
In trouble. You're in trouble.
Okay. So we can have a pencil show, and then Sunny is here and makes books and does. Laura, you missed meeting Sunny, who's from Minnesota. And Sunny, I know Laura will be interested in the work that you do in making your own books and then creating the pages.
Oh, yeah, that would be beautiful. That'd be beautiful.
You're muted, Sunny.
Mute, Sunny.
I'm on mute.
No, Sunny.
No, Sunny's on mute.
Oh, okay.
Honey, you're on mute.
You silly thing. Yeah, there's too much noise in my house, and so I.
Yeah.
I
Oh, look
keep
at this
muting.
work. Oh, this
But
is
this is
lovely.
what I did today.
Wonderful.
It's
Wonderful.
not done. It's not done. But
Nothing's
but
ever done. Oh my God. Then last night I realized that I organized my pencils by number, and you're not supposed to do it that way. You're supposed to do it by the color wheel. So I had to buy some new books to hold my new pencils so I could organize them by color.
Wait, I remember seeing me, got to show the have you got any of your organizers sitting right there?
Oh, I just have this one, this kind of traveling, rolling one you've seen before. It's what I grabbed for this group. But I just redid it by color. I had it by number, but I don't know. These do have numbers. Yeah, I don't know why I did it by numbers. I'm getting better.
there you
Oh,
go,
see, that's
Laura.
the way you're supposed to do it. Yes.
That's terrific.
I didn't know.
Thoughts really? I want to say, and I don't feel like that I'm putting it too strongly. I think that ColorFest saved my sanity a couple of times during lockdown. You know, and I say that without a trace of irony or you know, I was pretty. It was pretty difficult at times, and to come together in this way and to talk about whatever it was we were talking about was just a really Rita, you're right when you say it was a solace. So that's how important it was for me. And
So one of mine is just, the reinforcement. We didn't know, Beth and I, when we said, let's throw this out, this invitation, and whoever shows up are the right people. And if no one shows up, we'll still be doing this. So like, there's nothing to lose by sending an invitation. And the thing that it's just over this year that we've been doing this with this whole new community is just the reinforcement that, relationships matter, people matter. And all you have to do is just extend that hand and it gets grabbed, right? And so it just, for me, reminds me that, it's as simple as being real, it's as simple as being authentic, and that, having integrity in your belief that relationships are the only thing that matters. So it just has been so reinforcing. And for folks, and every week, every time we do this, we do not know if anyone is going to show up. And so for folks that, just keep coming back, we always go, wow, thank you. And then new folks joining us. So it's just wonderful. And so I have a great deal of gratitude for this opportunity every time we do it. So.
Yeah, I do too. I actually like, one of my biggest fears, and I know this is really stupid, but one of my biggest fears is to throw a party and have nobody show up. And so I actually do have a lot to lose. Like every time we put it out there, like there is this huge anxiety for me that nobody will come. I know that Carol's going to be there because she sets up, Howie, seriously, don't. She sets up the Zoom call. So I know she's probably going to be there. So this morning, like I go on Zoom and she's not in her room, and there's just a chair there, and I'm like, really, Carol? So I can sit here and talk to myself in my room by myself all day long. And she didn't show up for like 5 minutes. I'm like, this is going to be weird. So there's that anxiety. And then, but there's always that anxiety for me. And then people always show up, and it's this reinforcing thing for me that I throw a party and people come every single time. And so for me, it's like, it's this weird reinforcement, teaching me that I can actually get over my fear of throwing a party and people will actually come. So I have.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Have a great weekend.
And
Bye-bye.
Have fun,
Bye.
Carol.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.